My name is Zion. I am a VGC player from Sacramento, California. I've been playing for almost 5 years since my 10th birthday, July 5th, 2020. And I I wanted I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and so this video is just gonna be a little introductory on me, my kind of, I guess you could say, journey through VGC, what I've been doing, and like, how do I say it? Just like where I was when I first started, my progress, where I am now. But a little bit of a story as to how I got into VGC. When I was 9, I was just like scrolling on YouTube for some random things. I was already really into Pokemon, and I saw a stream. And it said Pokemon, so I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I love that. And it was the North American International Championships for 2019. And one, I saw Wolfie because like he won the thing, but also I saw like a bunch of other people. I saw like the 2v2 battling format. That caught me so off guard because I didn't really see a lot of the video games. I just saw the anime, and the anime, it's always been like 1v1s, but like 2v2 is just like, whoa, this is incredible. I need to do this now. Um, and so I looked it up. I just watched a bunch of YouTube, and then I moved. I got myself a tablet. I started to play a ton of Showdown in preparation for, say, like, the Sword and Shield metagame when that came out later in 2019. And then on my birthday, July 5th, I got my Switch. I got Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield. I blasted through the game. I don't even remember the story, honestly. I blasted the whole thing. 3 days it took me because I was so excited to start EV training and IV breeding. I just did Dynamax Adventures, but like, meh. Um, for competitive Pokemon. And just like most people, when they first started, I was really bad. Um, because the way I EV trained was just I put 252 in their highest stats and hoped. But, yeah, I didn't exactly know the significance of Protect or anything, right? The way I started is I just threw myself at the game, did what I thought could be good. Um, it usually wasn't, but, practice. The like, all of the practice that I got, because I grinded the in-game ladder during like all the Sword and Shield. I started um in about August, September. That's when I started like playing the ladder. Right, my very first ever team was a rain team. It was like Politoed, Ludicolo, Kingdra, uh, Caloric Shadow, because it was during like the weird little format where you get one restricted, and then two other Pokemon that I can't remember. I think there were other Swift Swimmers. One of them might have been Kabutops. I don't know. And I was like really upset because I kept losing. And I went to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I keep losing. Like I keep in the same teams. What do I do? And she's just like, well, she was like, why don't you try to like look at what everyone else is using and try to beat them, right? And so I'm thinking of that. Like I thought of that. I'm like, whoa, this actually might work. And that little thing she said all those years ago actually has defined the way that I team build. I love to counter the meta. Almost every team I make is built all by myself. Or not all by myself, but like I make it myself. I get input from a lot of the friends and a lot of the great communities that I'm in and the people that I build with. But I'm almost like never using meta, right? Like I don't like to bring meta to locals or events and whatnot. But yeah, so it was my slow improvement as I started to try to counter the meta more in the Sword and Shield metagame, and then came Scarlet Violet when those games came out, and I started like my growth when that game came out shot up exponentially. Like the terrestrialization mechanic, as opposed to Dynamax, it seemed to benefit me way more. I I could like feel myself being able to like play it better like with this new mechanic, right? So my very first ever team for Scarlet Violet Rig A, I was already at the point where like I was like consistently hitting Master Ball tier, and so that was like another boost to my confidence. My very first team, the rain team, was Pelipper, Quackleval. I remember those two. I think the other four were like Amoonguss, Farigiraf, Dragonite, and Grimmsnarl, I believe. I've always liked screens and stuff because I played a lot of double restricted for Gen 8. Grimmsnarl was like the menace that it was back then. It was insane. And then as the Scarlet Violet formats, went on, Reg, B, C, D, whatever, I was varyingly good at them, but I always felt myself getting better. And then came the first set of Scarlet Violet global challenges in Reg C, I believe it was, and I started to do like decent in those. Honestly, I remember the third global challenge of Reg C in 2023. I got 100th place out of nearly 13,000 people, and that just like it blew my mind. I was telling everybody I possibly could about that. It was like that was like the number one thing that I've ever done in this game at that moment, and that was just like such a massive boost to my confidence. Like, okay, I feel like I can do anything now. But and then like all my friends told me like you could go to the events, but I was like I always thought I couldn't because back during like the Players Cup, like the Players Cups in Gen 8, I did like pretty decently in those. But I was really upset. I remember one time I was like crying on my bed because it got to like the top 256 bracket and you couldn't like because I was like young at the time. I was like a senior and I lied about my age for the Sword and Shield game. Like I lied about my age in the games. Because of that, like I couldn't participate in the Players Cup. I couldn't do like the elimination rounds, and I was like really really upset. I'm like, now I'll have to wait like so many years for me to ever be able to do this, and then it gets to like, yeah, tangent aside, right? So I never think about going to events. And then comes Regaf, and that's where I have teams. I have teams in my builder. This shit on account. Um, and I struggled a lot with like the first bit because like I wanted to use like a beat up Justified team almost with like Whimsicott, Terrakion and stuff, and I just kept trying to force that. It wouldn't work. And it was like, okay, HO isn't like hyper offense isn't my style. It's like, what else can I do? And then the third global challenge comes around after flopping in the first two, and I come up with this team, and it was an extreme success. I believe I got 44th out of about 7,300 people, 7,400, whatever. It was another, like, just like the last one, it was such a big confidence booster. I kind of, like, rode that all through the summer. I didn't play a lot of VGC because I was doing Reg G, but I did watch Worlds, and I was like, whoa, that's, like, super cool. I want to go to one of those one day. And then, at the end of the World stream, they announced that it was in Anaheim, California, this year's World Championships, and my grandma lives in Anaheim. It's just like an 8-hour drive away. And I was so ecstatic when that news came out. And so I knew I had to start training. I had to start going to events. I had to start like doing good at this. I really, really wanted to qualify for Worlds. And so then Reg H gets announced shortly after. And it's towards the end of September. I've like been working with like a decent Reg H team for the first little bit. Like, let's see. There's my season folder. So this is what I used for like the first grand challenge. This team right here, and I did decently with this, like top like 150 or something like that. But I knew I could do better, and so I I finished I finished making my Arcanine account. Like I finished reading all the rules for the season, like the new changes in terms of the qualification and stuff. And then I stumbled upon the event locator and I saw that there was a local event just like 10 minutes away from my house in 3 days, and so I'm like, oh, I should go to that. You know, I start getting the championship points, and I take this team and I try to modify it. I like try to update it as much as I can because like the Hydreigon during the Grand Challenger didn't go so well, and so I went to my very first ever local, first in person event ever, and so my round one is against my current friend now Jack. He's another senior, and I beat him 2-0, and that felt really good. I won my very first ever in person match at a local, and then I beat my second opponent 2-0, and then my confidence was like ramping up. Like, whoa, I'm like actually good at this. Like I might be at least. And then it's uh, round three, and I paired like this really experienced player at my local scene. He's like one of the best people at my local scene, and it's such a tough game because I was running this team, and then like he was running kind of Arch Rain. It was like Incineroar, Amoonguss, Archaludon, Basket Legion, right? The standard four. But what was interesting is that he wasn't running Pelipper, right? He wasn't running Annihilate or anything. No. He was running Volbeat and Duraludon. So he'd set up Brain Dance with Volbeat, and then he'd use like both Archaludon and Duraludon, and that it took me so off guard. Like I lost game one. I just like I couldn't touch him. Yes, and it was very tough. And then game two was like so incredibly close, but I was just barely able to turn the tides and turn the positioning in my favor. And then game three is close, but like I got like a burn on his Basket Legion early on. I kind of just like slowly but surely shifted that into my victory, and after that I knew I had to go all in. Like I went 3 wins, 0 losses at my very first event, and I think I I haven't like that just changed me forever after that. I was invited into like the Northern California community, and then I started going to more events. And I brought this silly little Akrumi Blood Moon team, this kind of home cooked thing. And funny enough, I went 3-0 with this too. I did not lose a single game at that tournament, and that felt really good. And so I just kind of kept it up, and then I went to a third tournament with this team a couple weeks after the last one, and I didn't lose again. I did not lose a single game for my first 3 locals, and everyone was cheering me on at this point. Like I had become the hometown hero in that instant, and it's such a powerful feeling to have. I also realized the type of team I like. So balance, right? Kind of my thing, I guess. I noticed that in Reg F with, let's see, yeah, this team. That's when I really figured out that I like balance. But so just a few more locals, right? Ooh, yikes. The Grand Challenge 2. I went this team, and I got, it was my very first ever top 32, and that felt extremely good. But my Nintendo account wasn't connected to my Play Pokemon account, and so yeah, no points. The 120 championships that I would have gotten, nope. So that was rather unfortunate. That would have been like a big booster. Because let's see, where am I on the leaderboard? It's top 28 to qualify because of like the auto qualifiers and stuff. So like This person qualifies. This person doesn't. This is me. So, like, plus 120 points. That puts me at 680. So if I wasn't stupid, I'd be right here, 24th. So there's that one. I still find that really funny. And then, I think it was at this tournament, I hear about the Sacramento Regional Championships. And I'm like, I have to go. Because I remember the convention center was, and that is a 5-minute drive from my house. And it's set in stone. I go to my mom, she says, yes, I'm going to Sacramento Regionals. And so I start prepping. I go, this isn't okay. These two tournaments happened the weekend before. I went 3-3 with this team, and that kind of sucked. And then I went 6-0 with this one. And so I thought about bringing Hard Trick Room. But I'm like, I should probably stick with my balanced team. And so, here's how we get my Sacramento team. Oh, wrong team. Nope. There, no. Where'd it go? There we go. Oh my gosh. This is my Sacramento team. And so, okay, so here's how it went, right? The team building process, anyways. I already knew that I was going to work with Inzin, Rilla, Primarina, and Sneasler, right? I've been working with these for the entire regulation. I knew them inside and out. I knew everything they were good against, everything they were bad against, right? So I'm like, I'm sticking with these four, my balance score, right? So, the question is, what are the other two? And, so, I do, like, an online tournament on, like, Limitless, and I try Electabuzz, and I tried coaching Sneasler, and, like, Scale Shot Dragonite stuff, and, so Electabuzz did really well, and I really like how it meshed with the team, like, these five, but, what is it? Dragonite didn't do anything, like, at all. It just, like, really sucked. I think I went, like, 4 wins, 3 losses. All 3 of my sets that I lost were because, Dragonite was just bad. And it genuinely just, like, did not do what I needed it to. And so, I go to, like, the NorCal community, and I'm like, okay, what is my last one? Somebody help me, please. And I get a few suggestions. But one of them sticks out to me. One of my friends. They suggest that I use Komo-o. And I thought about it for just a second. And just, like, generally what it does. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's actually, like, a pretty good idea. I feel strong, so I bring it to some online tournament. I did really good. I got, like, 2nd or 3rd. I can't remember. But, also a bit of foreshadowing, but so like yeah, this is it. And for 3 weeks, because I made this team 3 weeks, I relentlessly tested. I tweaked a bunch of stuff. For example, Thunderbolt on Electabuzz. This is usually Electro Web, but the idea behind Thunderbolt is so my lead, like my game plan in Torchiddon Rain, is you bring Rillaboom, you bring Electabuzz, and then you just never hit the Torchiddon, right? Because Electroshot isn't doing a lot, and you can probably just run through the rest of their team by the time one of these two goes down, was the idea. And then you can just kill it with, like, Sneasler or Combo, right? Just pressure it way too much. So, Electroweb didn't allow me to do that, because every time I tried to kill, like, Pelipper or something, Arch would get more defense boost, and then Sneasler or Combo just couldn't clean up. And so, Thunderbolt for just, like, the more concentrated damage, one-shots Talonflame, or some Talonflame anyways, all the Pelipper's and stuff. And so, that's where that's from. Instance Taunt, the double taunt, is for, the size spam matchup. My size spam lead was always Instant E-Buzz, and then you just taunt stuff, like the tricker matchup and all that. You just taunt stuff, you knock off, you just kind of like screw with them until their tricker mode isn't a viable option anymore, and then you clean up like Rillaboom combo and whatnot, right? Primarina was there solely for the Dozo matchup, which is extremely funny because there was like not even like the regular Dozo matchup, it was like Dozo Tatsugiri. It was just like, one thing that I really sucked into, which is hilarious because I didn't I didn't run into a single Dozo during the entire event because there weren't any at all. I think there was like one maybe, right? And he dropped like pretty early on in the tournament. So yeah, Primarina, I brought it to 3 games during the entire event, and it lost 2 of them. So yeah, I really wish this was another mod. Like Specs alone and Ninetales in this slot just wins me the entire event. I won the whole event if this was Ninetales. But that's for another day. And then this acrobatics Sneasler, Terrifying Acrobatics, adamant because there's just so many things that this deals with that my team kind of struggled with, right? Like mouse ape stuff. I hated having to deal with mouse ape, and so like the acrobatics is really good for that, like the Scarf Final Gambit ape and all that. Tailwind teams. This is really good in Tailwind teams because you can still outbeat some of their mons like Garchomp and Ursaluna Blood Moon, stuff like that. Same with like Scarf and DD, Dragapult, all that. And the Rillaboom said just yeah, the EV spreads. Okay, this spread was entirely dedicated to the rain matchup, and it didn't actually end up doing its job, because this was meant to live banded, I think, Terra Water, basically from Wave Crash and Rain, and it did that like 60% of the time, but that's like the best I was getting, because I had to outspeed Pelipper. That's what this is for. I probably could have put these 2 into defense, give me better odds. I don't know, though. It doesn't really matter, because I never had to take that attack. Actually, it did once, and I did win the roll, so that was cool. This spread, it was to live, like, Jolly Dire Claw. And then Citrus Berry let me live like some odd attack afterwards that I can't quite remember. This instant spread is really silly. So I actually meant to go to the LA regionals the year before, and I never ended up going. And this spread was for that event. I meant to like try to counter Zacian because I thought that mon would be really good. It wasn't, and I don't know why I brought this spread, but it was fine. This spread, I just thought that like none of the other base 85s would be going max speed. Biggest mistake of the entire tournament. If this was 252, my tournament run looks so different because I lost 3 sets throughout the entire tournament, and it was because like a large factor of it was because Como was like this. So that's cool. And then Sneasler adamant to 236 because I didn't need to outspeed anything fast when like because it outspeeds Garchomp and Tailwind, and that's like about as fast as you really needed to be. Like I didn't need anything faster ever during the event. Like I was fine. And like even during testing, like it never really came up that much, except for like not even Talonflame. Talonflame's always faster than you. But yeah, it was a little annoying, but yeah, it's alright. And so, gosh, I wish we could go over that, but Pokédata hates me, and so I have to pull up Pokédata on my cell phone, and I'm just gonna like say what happens, or like kind of what happened at that event. This isn't gonna be like a full breakdown or anything, just like a really brief run through, because there's so much more to cover that happened in the last like 5-6 months. So my final placement at Sacramento. Remember, my very first ever regional, and I acquired a 3rd place finish, top 4. I got $500, 72 packs of Pokemon cards, a kick-ass medal, and a really cool playmat. Also, 300 points towards the World Championships. So, like, this this championship point total that you see, this is just the regional finish. I maxed out all of my locals, and then I have done nothing else for reasons that I'll get into in a minute. But so yeah, I fought Mr. Hudson, winner of the tournament. I fought him in round one, and I fought him in semifinals, and I lost both times. The reason I lost is because one, my team just can't deal with him on Mega because I have 3 mons that are weak to fighting, and or too weak to flying. Jesus, and I had to lead one of them because there's no way on Earth I'm getting away with leading Primarina into a team with a Rillaboom, a Mungus, Goldango, Archaludon, and Mega, and what was the 6th? Politoed. I'm not getting away with like even bringing this mon. It didn't do anything in that matchup. I think I tried leading Eebuzz once, and it went alright. I lost all 4 games. I did not get a single game up on him, and it was devastating. But that is alright. I am still very proud of how I did. The other game that I lost was my round 6 actually, into Robert, because he was running Specs Archaludon, and it's Max Speed Timid. My Como, which speed tires Archaludon in terms of base speed, is 1 point slower, so I got Dracoed to high heaven. That was fun. I also forgot what Stalwart did. That's also like kind of a part of it, you know. Like I feel like if I didn't forget about that, I would have been okay. So the rest of the tournament, right? So like round 1, I'm like really nervous, and I lose, and then I'm just like, damn. So I'm bad at this, and then round 2, I won 2-0, but both games were like really close. I just had like claw back, right? Early acrobatics on his Scarf Annihilate, so he can final game with a Rillaboom, and it does nothing. So yeah, that's why that one's good. Round 3 is really funny because I was against my friend Ethan. He's part of the NorCal community, and I know him like really well. I helped build most of his teams. Actually, I have to build all of his event teams. So what happened during our set was I went way hard into his Talonflame game 1 and lost. Game 2, I led I led Electabuzz Como into his Talonflame Goldengo, and he Terra Steel. He started making it rain, and I tried to go for a Terrifier Clanger Soul, and I got crit, so I couldn't do it anymore. And I thought, wow, my regional run is over. Though somehow, right, Eebuzz chips down Talonflame, so it's on like 3 HP, right? Golden goes to kind of low. And so it's Rillaboom and Sneasler versus his low HP Talonflame, like 40% HP Golden Go, and his Garchomp and Primarina full health in the back. And so the turner seems to proceeds. I read his Golden Go switch, and I kill Talonflame. Then it's Garchomp and Primarina on the field. I protect Sneasler. I read his Protect on Primarina. I would hammer Talonflame, or I would hammer Garchomp. Garchomp's now at like 30%, right? And then I Aggressive Glide Garchomp, Dire Claw, Primarina. Both of those go down. And then it's just Golden Go, which is Terra Steel, and so I can close combat that for the win. I can't remember how I won game 3, but I did. So that's cool. Round 4 was the Como Mirror matchup, which, but he had like Specs Golden Go, and I don't remember how I won. I lost game 1 somehow, and then game 3 came down to just like I preserved my Como better. We both had Soundproof, but he was in like 10% when mine came out. Also, I did get like a little lucky. My Incin lived his Specs Golden Go's Dazzling Gleam on 3 HP, so that I could blitz it and it died. So that's fun. And then I can't remember that was all game 3. I can't remember what happened in game 2 though, like at all. So there's that. Round 5, I also won. It was one of the Arch Rain teams that I actually beat because he didn't bring Arch out on game 1, and then he brought it game 2, and then after game 2, he just like gave up. Not even in the game. He just like said, "All right, I don't want to do this anymore. You can have the win." And I'm just like shell shocked. Like I stood there for like a good 4 minutes or something like that. I'm just like, whoa. I mean, like I'll take it, but like, whoa. Okay. So that just like, yeah. If that didn't happen, I didn't have a season. I didn't do anything that I did afterwards. So big shoutouts to Benjamin. Thanks. I lose to Robert round 6, as I said, and then round 7 is fun. Declan. That is his name. He is my friend. But I'm really scared going into this because his first tournament ever was NAIC 2024, and he got 3rd. I'm just like, oh, this is a bad matchup. That guy's insane. I'm losing. So I just think it's over. And this is where the name comes from, professional gambling. That's because of what happened in this set. So game 1, I win because my Electabuzz, this is why I love Thunderbolt, I paralyzed his Golden Go, and it got fully parried twice in a row. That's how I won that one. I just murdered with Instant. Sneasler combo took care of, or Chaladon, Pelipper, and all the rest. And then game 2, I remember like the last 4 turns. So he sends in like his ridiculously. Oh, wait. That's after. So it's their Chaladon. We both have Terra. It's their Chaladon and his Pelipper staying on my Rillaboom Sneasler. Actually, not Rillaboom Sneasler. Some other Mon in Sneasler, right? Whatever. And so his Archaladon's on like 60%. And so it's a big old 50-50. Does he Terra? Does he not? Do I go for close combat or do I go for acrobatic? Because these Terra bug Archaladon. I'm just in my head. Like this is the win and in. If I win, I make top 8 of my very first regional. So I'm just like, okay, I'm in the heat of battle. I have to go for it. So I rip the Terra Flying Acrobatics. He goes Terra Bug. And I crit. Boom. So our Chaladon is dead. Whatever was on the field with Sneasler is dead. Out comes his Mask Illusion, which is ridiculously bulky, and I kind of know this. It's like max defense, max speed, he said, which is genuinely hilarious. So yeah, it took like 670 from max Adamant Rillaboom Grassy Glide, which is, I mean, yeah, you can do that with Mask Illusion, I guess. Whatever. So that plus Sneasler Acrobatics kills it. Alright, Rillaboom goes down. So then it's Sneasler, Terrifying Sneasler, at like full HP versus Pelipper with a Focus Sash intact. And we're in the rain, so Weather Ball still kills. And so I'm looking at the switch, I'm looking at him. I click Dire Claw, I'm just like, Dire Claw Sleep, Dire Claw Sleep, Dire Claw Sleep, and I freaking get it. I get the sleep. He wakes up turn 1, but it's already too late. I acrobatics him. That acrobatics also gets a second crit, which is really, it doesn't matter. But, see, I got the second crit. And I win the game. I win the set. And I did the calculations afterwards. The odds of me winning the 50-50, getting 2 crits and a Dire Claw sleep, is 1 in 6,192. So, yeah, my entire season is based off getting stupidly lucky. And then my round 8, my top 8, and then my friend Walker from Canada, he's running Side Spam, and so I told him I had a Como. He doesn't know anything else. He didn't know anything else about my team. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna hard focus into my Como. So I didn't bring it, and I won 2-0 because he brought everything to do with Como, and I brought everything that dealt with Como. And so yeah, that's my Sacramento run. My parents were really proud of this, and so am I. So That's how my season began. And so what happened after this was a silly little fiasco of never going to anything ever, right? Um, so here's what happened. San Antonio. That's where I plan to go to next, right? And I spent 6 weeks building the perfect team to counter the meta for Reg G, early Reg G. And it's this. I had, I believe, 2 bad matchups with this team, right? Which were, I sucked into Terrapagos, but it wasn't like unwinnable, right? Because this team is just like abusing multiplier skill damage, and Terrapagos like clearing those multipliers is just fucking bad for me. So my idea was I lead Flutter, I lead Calyrex, and I use Calyrex as a bait. So Flutter just does like 1,000,000,000 damage to Terrapagos before anything gets done, and I can win with Ogre Pun and Torkoal, because the idea with these two is I click Terra, Fire, Ivy Cudgel, I click Helping Hand in the sun, and it one-shots Terrapagos, which is cool. So yeah, that plan didn't work. I just lost that matchup. Luckily, oh yeah, the other bad matchup is Ice Rider plus Pelipper. That just like really sucks because it's the mirror, right? But half my team is useless. So that's cool. Also, my team really sucks into Ice Rider. Flutter dies to Ice Rider. Raging Bolt dies to Ice Rider. Rillaboom dies to Ice Rider. Ogre Pond doesn't have anything to if they Terrifier. Torkoal's doing nothing if they Terrifier. And my Ice Rider, it's the Ice Rider versus Ice Rider. I just don't have a mon that can kill that thing. So that's awesome. And then what happens for San Antonio is, I go to register and it's sold out. So that's cool. I spent 6 weeks for actually nothing. What's really cool, what's really funny, so this team was actually like, the perfect meta call, because all there was Zama, 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 and Zama, right? At that tournament. And this little guy, boom, Zama team, gone, Rillaboom, gone, Amoongus, gone, Chunpao, gone, Zama itself, gone, Overheat actually kills that mon. I'm oversimplifying it, but that matchup was, like, absurdly in my favor because of these two. And then, comes Vancouver, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to that one, right? So here's what happens. My lovely mother made a silly little mistake and got the legislation on whether or not we needed a passport mixed up. So, I realized I needed one a little bit too late, and it didn't come. What's really cool about this team, though, is that it did all right. It did all right into the Vancouver meta, because the Vancouver meta, it was a lot of Zama again. It was a lot of Ice Rider, and it's a lot of Pagos, and Karada beats 2 of those, so good enough, right? And then Volcarona is like your Ice Rider. Maybe I can beat this type mon. The answer was no, I actually couldn't. I never beat an Ice Rider team with this team, but I got close. See, I didn't actually go to Vancouver again. My friend did. My friend Ethan did, and he did half decent. My friend Ethan also got top 16 at UIC with a team that I built. Now that was all me, so I get lots of thank yous every time I bring that up. And then finally, Atlanta, which as of recording happened a few days ago. And so what happened for Atlanta, this is really silly. I had the tickets, everything was ready, and I was guaranteed to go, right? So the night before I leave, I'm sitting at a light, and at 60 miles an hour, boom! Somebody crashes into me. So yeah, my face, like, went into the dashboard, I was, like, yanked back. I'm still recovering from that, by the way. My neck really hurts from the whiplash. But yeah, so I didn't go. But again, this team was the perfect call, because this team only has, like, this team actually just doesn't have a bad matchup. Like, there's, kind of, an iffy Moreno matchup, but even then, I win that. Because I can outscale people. And Rillaboom. So here's the cool thing, right? I had the perfect meta call for a 3rd time in a row. There were, 3 Zamas there, right? And only one of them was by a good player. Hudson, actually. He was using Zama, so that's cool. But yeah, this team definitely could have top 8 at that event, probably top 4 at it. But alas, I just didn't. So that leaves us to today. Regulation I. I am doing my sweet little preparations for the Portland Regional Championships, where you will see me. I will be there. And that's where I am today. I've been constantly growing and getting better ever since, Sacramento. Ever since I started, also well. But there's probably going to be a lot more videos coming soon. Bad ones, because I'm not good at editing. I don't know how to edit anything, so cut me some slack. But I'm going to be documenting my preparation process for Portland with my friend Ryu. We're prepping together. Ryu got second at Sacramento, by the way. That was their first regional, so that's cool. But yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching. There's going to be a lot more to come, so I hope whoever sees this is excited. Tell your friends, because I think this is cool. And goodbye and good night.